What's up, Cyrus? It's going. If everybody in the back can hear me, come on in. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. So good to see all you folks coming in with your beautiful faces and good smiles. You know, we always start on time because that's what I love to do. So that's what we're going to do. That's just how it's going to be. Good morning and welcome to NCC. I am so happy to see your faces because we here at NCC, we are on the move. Did you hear about the Planning Commission vote that happened 2 weeks ago? Wasn't that exciting? It is so good. Well, I would love to, but they're talking to each other because they're having a good time in the back. Yeah, but here's what I do want to do. Here's what I want to do. Let's do the announcements. Why don't you come on up? Let's do the announcements. We'll get started.
They're not going to hear them. They're all talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and encourage. I'm gonna go encourage.
Did you hear the Knicks won last night?
I was just coming to that.
That's the best news of the day.
All things are possible. The Knicks won last night. All things are possible. Let's get you going. Let me bring in our people. Everybody in the back, if you can hear me, we don't want to start without you, but we will. How you doing, love?
She's such a good
Why don't you? Hey, home.
Good morning, everybody, and
good to see y'all.
happy Flag Day.
Hey.
I'm all sweaty.
Don't you worry.
Happy Flag Day, and I think we should take a minute to say a little prayer that we can continue to fly our flag over a free democracy, continue our own individual pursuit of happiness, and collectively continue to try to perfect the Union.
And let's remember the pride flag this month.
The pride flag as well. Amen. Okay, so announcements. We have every Monday in the evening we have meditation Mondays, and we encourage everybody to come and meditate and retune your souls. We have an important city council meeting coming up following our huge success with the Planning Commission. We're now going to meet with the city council on Tuesday, June 23rd, and this will be the final hurdle we have to cross before we're free and clear to start construction. So I'd encourage as many of you as possibly can to attend the city council meeting and support us. And also, in the meantime, write a letter of support. It really makes a difference. They really keep score of who's writing in favor of and who's writing against. And so it's really easy. You just go on the website nccproject.org and click on support. And there's a pre-written letter, and you can personalize it if you want, or if you're busy and want to just do it quickly, you can just send it as is. And we would really appreciate it if you do that. Also, very important announcement. In 2 weeks, we're having a congregational meeting. Friends of the church are welcome for the service, but afterwards we'll have a meeting with members only. Please come. It's important we have a quorum because we will be taking a vote or two. All right. Anything I missed, Rod?
Come on, join me, Sue. So I want to reinforce a couple things with Sue's help. Let's do the next slide, Cyrus. So we have a congregational meeting on June 28th, which is going to happen at 11:30 a.m. after our 10 o'clock gathering. That's going to be for all of our members. Friends are able and invited to come to 10 o'clock, and then at 11:30 a.m. we'll have a members-only meeting, which will include a vote. If you are not a member of NCC, but you want to be, talk to me after this service. Let's start a conversation. All right, come join me for a moment. Next slide, Cyrus. As Sue was saying, we are seeking support letters for folks who are in support of our affordable housing project. And I want to invite you to write down this website, nccproject.org. Write that down because you may know someone, particularly someone who lives in Laguna Beach or maybe lives in South Orange County, at least, who wants to maybe write a letter of support for our project, please send them to that website, nccproject.org. Invite them to click on the link that says support, and they can submit a letter on our behalf in support of the affordable housing project. Anything you want to add to that, my friend?
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, good. Any questions about the project, about the meetings? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Where did you submit it, my friend? We've heard about this issue before. I believe it went through. If it did not, we'll come back to you. Okay? So what Jen was asking was, she submitted a letter yesterday and she got an error message. That was itself an error. I believe the letter went through. We will check. Okay? It went through? Okay, thank you, Maya. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Happy Sunday.
All right. So this is an incredible month, the month of June. There are so many things happening. The Knicks won the championship last night, which I still can't believe. That's a joke. That's a joke. A joke. And then in addition to that, I'm wondering just how cool it is. I'm so amazed because I was talking to a friend of mine who just told me that he and his wife are expecting their third child. And I'm so excited for them because they said they were going to have one, and now they're on to 3. So things happen, right? And then it's also Pride Month, as Roxanna was saying. This is Pride Month, and I'm so excited because this is a time for us to affirm yet again our openness, our welcoming, and our willingness to invite everybody into our tent here at NCC. It is good to be a church that is all about pride. And of course, this is the week that leads up to Juneteenth. Juneteenth is happening on the 19th, which we'll say a little bit about later on in our gathering, so I'll save that portion. But June is packed with so many celebrations, and it's good to be able to be here with you today as we think of all of them. All right, I'm going to ask you to stand as you are able. Come on, stand as you are able. And I want to sing our first song for the morning. It is the Black National Anthem, and it is called Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift.
Wait, words, please. There it is.
Have a seat. You sound so good. I told my mom, who celebrated her birthday yesterday, that we are going to be singing the Black National Anthem, and she said, yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you. Mike?
Hi. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's a beautiful day again in America. So, one of the things we're doing today, thoughts on justice and reconciliation. This is a compiling of information and data, et cetera, that I've compiled through AI, Google, people at the Clue organization, which donates, yields time or pro bono work for people who are having issues with civil rights. And so that's one of the areas that we seek to accomplish is justice. And so I'll go ahead and let you know what I discovered, and so you don't have to go looking things up or remind yourself. Here we go. Justice is the fundamental, ethical, philosophical, and legal principle that people are treated impartially, fairly, and reasonably. It encompasses the administration of law, the protection of rights, and the assurance that everyone receives what they are due. Justice and reconciliation are deeply intertwined for healing fractured communities. While justice addresses the wrongs committed, reconciliation focuses on restoring broken relationships. Together they shift the focus from mere punishment to long-term social harmony. Enduring past harms are both acknowledged and overcome. Justice is the ethical, philosophical, and legal principle that people should be treated impartially, fairly, and reasonably. It encompasses the moral rightness of behavior, the administration of law, and the ideal of ensuring everyone receives what they are due. For the Bible emphasizes justice as a fundamental pillar of God's character and moral command for humanity. It frequently focuses on defending the marginalized, speaking out for the oppressed, and ensuring fairness in daily relationships. Over the next several Sundays, this committee, Spirit in Action, will present justice, like now, at our Sunday services, and we will have some guest speakers come from a couple of different organizations, and we will be having discussions and making observations on a weekly basis for several weeks. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. Desmond Tutu. There are still many causes worth sacrificing for. So much history is yet to be made. Michelle Obama was quoted that. I do not think of political power as an end. Neither do I think of economic power as an end. They are ingredients in the objective that we seek in life. And I think that end or that objective is a truly brotherly societal, the creation of the beloved community. And that was Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Our society is confronting injustice on a daily basis in a variety of ways throughout the country like never before. Let us begin with love and peace and justice. Amen. Thank you.
Good job. So as Mike was saying, we have the gift of being in partnership with some incredible justice organizations. And this church has been supportive of those organizations over the years. So we have an opportunity to bring some of those voices to be with us on certain Sundays over the coming weeks so that you can hear from these folks and you can hear about the good work they're doing with your money, with our NCC money. And so we have some incredible guests coming your way who will be a part of our gatherings over the coming weeks. Speaking of that, I want us all to be aware of the fact that starting next week, we will be moving our Sunday gatherings from this space over into Bridge Hall, because I want to see you more closely. I like to feel you when we get together during the summer times so that we're not so dispersed in our pews. And I also like being in there because it's not so hot. So we'll get together in Bridge Hall starting next week for our Sunday gatherings, still at 10 o'clock, not here, in Bridge Hall. All right? Okay? Okay? All right. Thank you, Mike. That was great words. And then let me also invite you, please, I want you to take a look around the room. Take a look around the room. There are some familiar faces. There are some unfamiliar faces. There are some faces that we've missed, faces that are back after some time, faces that I just saw yesterday, faces I haven't seen in months. I am so glad you're all here. It makes my heart sing because we here at NCC, we are on the move. We are a place of love. We are a place of hope. We are a place of compassion, justice, and peace. And we can't do that without one another. We can't do that without this community. And someone asked me the other day, what are you most looking forward to after all the housing has been finally voted on? What are you looking forward to after June 23rd? And I said, I'm looking forward to not having to talk about real estate every day for weeks upon end. But even more than that, I'm looking forward to being what I've always wanted to be with you again, to refocus our energy on those parts of who we are, who I am with you, with the full knowledge that our affordable housing project is on its way. What am I talking about? I'm talking about getting more clear with you, more real with myself, with all of us, about what we can do even over and above the housing as exponents of love, grace, and peace. And it's interesting. We're not starting from scratch because if you realize it, you've already got a Monday night's meditation. You've already got a sound bath that meets once a month, right? You've got your Democratic Club that meets here because they rent our space, yeah? You've got an incredible Death Workers Alliance that meets here once a month. You have an awesome gathering of folks who are already in a space of wonder with us about our spiritual center and the future of that. You've got your own ideas. We've got some speakers that we're going to bring on over the coming months. Patricia and I are going to work on something very soon. My point is, the work is already underway. And my hope is, now that the housing is about to be, I'll say, approved by the city, our energies can begin to mingle a bit into other spaces. My time, my bandwidth, your time, your bandwidth, who we have always been as a community. Let me put it differently. It takes a lot of work and energy to do affordable housing. And we have been true, we have been strong, and we have stayed committed. And by your presence and by your commitment, what we will be freed to do in the coming months, I can't wait. And I want to do that with you. I want to do that in partnership with you. So, I have one request. If there's anyone that you have been wondering about, you haven't seen them here at NCC in a while. It's been weeks, it's been days, it's been months, it's been more than that, right? Because again, when you're doing change, when you're going through change, sometimes people drift. It's a natural part of life. It happens. I want you to do something for me. I want you to reach out to them. Tell them that you miss them. I miss them. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them what they need. Ask them how we can help. Ask them what's the next step. Because I can't do this without you, and you can't do this without me. And if someone says, hey, that housing thing, it's taking too long. Tell them, we got a city council vote coming up on June 23rd. We're almost home. Come back. Be a part of the next chapter. Be a part of the next opportunity. We miss you. We love you. Come home. That's not my message. I just wanted to start with that. With that in mind, I'm excited because now, because of my mom who celebrated her birthday yesterday, I have this feeling that it was a nice recollection for me. See, we were talking about Juneteenth, and she said to me, that story of Juneteenth, it's too easy, it's too clean. I said, what do you mean, Mom? What do you mean by that? And she said, well, it glosses over so much of the struggle, and it glosses over so much of the disinformation, and it glosses over so much of the separation and the division that was so powerful and relevant during that time. I said, what do you mean, Mom? She said, well, you remember when you were a kid, we taught you that Lincoln gave that proclamation in 1863, but it wasn't until 2.5 years later when the folks in Texas received the power and the gift of the proclamation. In other words, it took 2.5 years for the folks in the Deep South to get the message. That's the part of the Juneteenth story, Sue, that I'm still curious about. The fact that he gave the proclamation, and 2.5 years later, the folks in Texas got hip to the story. Now, what I was wondering about with my mom is if it was 2.5 years of in-between, what was happening during that in-between? What pains and struggles and hurts and problems were prevalent during those 2.5 years? If I'm a slave in North Texas and I haven't gotten the proclamation yet, what hope does that bring me? What does that mean to me? What love is there to be found? Yes, something may have changed out there, but nothing has changed for me. I'm here in North Texas and I'm still a slave. What was happening during those 2.5 years? And what does it mean for us now? See, I asked the question for a simple reason. I think America is still in those 2.5 years. Let me tell you what I mean. When we decided to become a nation and try this experiment 250 years ago, one could argue that proclamation, though idealistic, lofty, and beautiful in and of itself, it set off a liminal period. It set off an in-between time. It set off 2.5 years of stuff, which turned out to be 250 years of stuff. This is not a rebuke of America. Because I love America, I want to talk about the in-between. Somebody say in-between. Come on, say in-between. Yeah, and I want to do it this way. I know that for many in our country, in our nation, we don't like to talk about these topics of slavery and race and the evils that come with that. Now, luckily, I'm here at NCC, so we're not immune to those conversations. We like having real talks here, right? Right? See, I work for NCC, so here we get to have real chats. I'm fortunate in that. I'm privileged in that. You know, people always talk about white privilege. Well, pastors like me have privilege too, because I get to stand here and talk about race and keep my job. So it's nice to be in a space where I can do this with you. Not many pastors have this privilege, and my heart goes out to them. Okay, so with all of that in mind, what I want to share with you is something very simple. It's this idea of how I'm looking at the view of our educational system, our political system, our business and corporate world. And I've come to this understanding in my mind that for many folks, they would rather just whitewash over these topics. It's convenient not to have to deal with our nation's past, the racist history which we've all inherited. It's interesting for people to say over and over again, wow, Rod, why even go there? Why even touch on these subjects? Because frankly, we don't want to upset white people. We don't want to make white people feel bad. But see, here's the thing. When we talk about those topics, we're not doing that because we want to make someone feel guilty. We're doing that because we want to recall the fact that all of us, whether we're white or something else entirely different, we have all inherited a story of America that we're still working through as I say these words today. We bring it up because we have to be reminded of the past which we've inherited so that we can give ourselves the strength, courage, and wisdom not to repeat it, so that we can move into a more glorious, inclusive, and compassionate future. In other words, folks who say, I don't want to hear about this stuff, they are lost in their ego. You heard it here first. The very words of, let's not talk about that, that's not important. That's yesterday's news. Let's not offend. That kind of language, that is, I would offer, a beautiful dance of the ego. And last time I checked, the spiritual path is all about putting the ego in check. And so, if the spiritual path is all about putting the ego in check, and I'm looking at the fact that America still will not engage this conversation with all of the force, veracity, and wisdom that it requires, then I'm left with this wonderment about why celebrate Juneteenth in the first place. Why make it a federal holiday? Why put the energy into it? Why have the campaign over years and decades and months and marches and speeches, only to then sign the proclamation to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, and yet the conversation has still not been fully joined by our brothers and sisters, our family across America? Why have Juneteenth in the first place when, in fact, at its best, Juneteenth is America's holiday. It is America's story of becoming, America's story of possibility, America's story of progress. Why have it at all? And then I was reminded by Mom. She said, well, baby, I think America has still not understood the evils from whence it came. And until America faces those evils, we're not going to change. Faces those evils. That's what Mom said. And that got me to thinking. See, Here at NCC, we are the kind of church that takes seriously our thoughts about spirit and mystery. See, for us, mystery is not some old man in the sky with a gray beard and hooves and knives just waiting to judge us. We don't look at spirit that way. See, here at NCC, spirit is a force. Spirit is a creative, transcendent reality that lives in us and dwells in us. That's good. That feels nice. I love that. But we didn't stop there. Not only is spirit real and dwelling in us, we have also come to a deeper understanding of evil itself. See, here at NCC, we don't judge a person because of their personhood or their humanity. No, we look at the actions. We look at the words. We look at the beliefs. Those are the things that we look at to help us determine, are we looking at some good or are we looking at some evil? See, evil is a force. Just like spirit mystery is a force dwelling and living in us. So if the evils are real and the force of love is real, how do we find our way to a path of understanding that really, really puts those two in their proper context? What's the next step? Yeah, that's what I've been asking myself. Yeah. And I come back to where I began. I believe the point of the spiritual path is to put ego in its proper place. And I do want to talk about Jesus in this moment because I think his example follows the lineage of Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, Islam, and all the others. His very life story follows this track. Because here's a man who went into the wilderness. And of course, in those days, using the word wilderness was synonymous with talk about evil. So here's a man who went into the evil of his day to find his purpose. And not only that, he figured out along the way in the wilderness that he couldn't do the work without his community. He was separated. He was away from his friends, only to then recognize, if I'm going to face this evil, I'm going to get out there and do it in community with other folks. I'm going to get out there and do some love. I'm going to share some food opportunities. I'm going to heal some bodies. I'm going to do it with my friends. I'm going to create opportunities for affordable housing, and I'm going to do that in my community because I can't do that alone. He figured out that to do the work of love requires community. He came out of the wilderness and he found his purpose. He looked at evil in his face and said, ha, the answer is right in front of me. I'm looking at it. And so it's interesting. It's interesting to ask ourselves, what parts of my ego, or let me put it differently, because I know for some, ego is not a word we understand perhaps fully for all of us. Let me put it this way. What parts of my journey move me to be away from the best parts of myself, or diminish my desire to be in community with others, or diminish my desire to care more thoughtfully for myself, or diminish my desire to be curious about the evils of American society and what I can do to change them, or curious about what parts of my life I can reorder so that I can be better spiritually and physically and mentally and spiritually, financially. See, the idea of ego is simply a question. What parts of your journey are moving you to be less than your best? That's a question that only you can answer. By answering it, you are getting closer to understanding how ego works in your life. Not mine, yours. So when I talk about ego, I'm simply asking a question. When are you at your best? When's the last time it happened? What did it look like? What did it feel like? Who was around you? Who supported you? Who mentored you? And most importantly, who walked with you? That's what I mean when I talk about ego. I'm simply asking questions. So if the spiritual path is about figuring out our own answers to those important questions, then I'm more clear in my mind about why Juneteenth matters. Because then I'm less interested in the answer and I'm more interested in the destination. I'm more interested in the journey. My apologies. I'm more interested in the journey. And what I mean by that is that even if America drags its feet, even if America sits in its egotistical place as I say these words, even if the prevailing words and force of our society right now have made separation and division and hatred in vogue, branded them as if they are important and necessary to the American story, even if those evils are having their day right now, even as I say these words, we are still a people of the wilderness. We are still a people who sit in reality and understand that everything we see in front of us, it is only part of the story. We understand that just like Jesus, who went into that wilderness carrying all the wisdom and love and compassion of Mother Mary, all the gods and goddesses that came before him and those who came after, he took all that wisdom into the wilderness, and he said, aha, the answer has been staring at me all this time. I got to stay committed. I got to stay in it. I got to stay willing. I got to link with friends. I got to say it and say it and say it and keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it, but so that my ego can be placed in its place, so that America's ego will finally be subdued, and we can finally say that Juneteenth is truly indeed America's holiday. All right. I'm going to invite you to sing a song with me. And it's so fun because my joy of this moment, being here and celebrating with you this power of Juneteenth, it reminds me of a song called Dream Love's Dream, which we're going to sing later. But for now, Lead with Love. Now, usually when we sing this song, we stand up and clap our hands. But this time, I want you to hear the song as Roxanna plays it. I want you to read the words like a meditation. Let's make it a meditative moment. Allow these words to sit in you as you read them. Let's have a meditative moment with the words on the screen. Thank you, Roxanna.
That song is usually done a cappella. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Remember that? One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put and lead with love. And lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put and lead. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. You gotta put and lead with love. It made me want to go into fever. Yeah. Oh, what the world needs now. This song is on a commercial right now. Have you heard it? It's children singing, and we just did a show at No Square, and it was the music of Burt Bacharach. And what was so fun was I had a bunch of young people, 20s, 25, 30, who didn't know the song. I'm sorry, can't hear me? Is it me? Check one. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, and I was talking quietly. Anyway, quickly, we did this show, music of Burt Bacharach, and what was so amazing, I'll start crying if I think about it. I had 20, 30-something-year-olds doing the show, and they didn't know the song. They didn't grow up with Burt Bacharach's music being the soundtrack that it was for my life. So when they sang it and started getting it, and the sound of those voices doing it, I have such a vision in my head of doing a children's chorus all over the world singing this song, because this still, unfortunately, is so important. We did this last Sunday at my little sing-along, everybody. What the world needs now, it's that there's just too little of what the world no, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are till the end of time. What though? It's the only thing no, not just for some. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. What the no, not just for some, oh, but just for everyone. Back to the Knicks. I just have to share this. Some of you probably heard the poem, and it just made me so happy. The New York Knicks, and the poem was, a guy did, was, my mayor is Muslim, my bagel is Jewish, my Christian's Dior, Knicks in 4. I thought that was the most brilliant thing I'd ever heard.
Wow.
That's love.
Wow, that is love.
And that's what's going on in New York. I'm watching it this morning.
Yes.
It's people across the spectrum.
Yes, yes.
And this
absolutely.
has brought them together. and I heard an announcer say, I've been kissing people. I mean, just kissing people. They were so happy, and he went, oh, my wife probably heard that. But it was like, there's just such love, and we haven't seen that in this country in a while.
Yes. So well said. So well said. And I think that's why I'm so excited about our project, because I know that with all the work that we've been putting into this, we'll be able to celebrate some incredible progress together in the coming weeks and months. And we get to do that for Laguna Beach. Yesterday we did a memorial for Roger Kempler, and that was such a joy-filled moment. I was so grateful that during his memorial, I got to speak the fact that he was in favor of our project.
Wow.
And here is someone who has been a long-time supporter and believer in Laguna Beach over the decades, and he has been one of our greatest cheerleaders. And so for me to be there yesterday, to be able to thank him in front of his friends and his family, in front of our town even, it was a real privilege for me. So Roger, we love you, we're thinking of you, and we thank you for your support for our good work. Let's say Roger together. Roger. All right, so what I want to do now real quickly, I'm going to ask us to take a moment. Next week is the beginning of summer, and officially that is, the actual season. And I'm curious, as we get ready to enter into this season, you've heard me talk now about race and racism and evils and goods and all those things. So you understand what I'm thinking about as we go into next week. But I want to create an opportunity for all of us to have a similar time to be able to share. And I know for many of us, sharing in a large room may not be the most comfortable thing. So here's what I want to do instead. I'm going to ask you to pair up with someone. Find someone in the room that you can sit with for about 5 to 10 minutes. And when you sit with them, I want to make sure that each of you has the opportunity to answer a certain set of questions, okay? Let's put the questions up, Cyrus. Find a partner. And as you sit with them, consider these questions together. What are you looking forward to celebrating this summer? Do you have a prayer, a joy, or even a need? All right? And then the next question is, what helps you breathe easy? What helps you breathe easy? And then I put this one in because this week is Juneteenth. What's one thing you can do to show solidarity with the cause for racial justice? What's one thing you can do to show solidarity with the cause for racial justice? Find a partner. I'm going to give you 10 minutes, all right? Let's do it. Make sure you share the time. Share the time. Share the time. Okay, everyone, I'm going to give you about 5 more minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
What's 69?
All right, all right. Come back with me. Come back with me. Um, I hope that this was a moment of great grace for you. I could feel the energy as you were speaking, and I'm grateful for the chance that we can be in connection together. You know, what I realize now, even as I was sharing my words today, I was most excited about today because you were going to have this exercise to be able to see each other. And just feeling the power of this moment makes my heart sing. So, as a result of that, as our prayer for what we just did, let's sing Dream Loves Dream.
And
Dream loves dream. Sound so good. Give yourselves a hand. You sound so wonderful. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, really. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Come on. Because when we talk about what's one thing that we can do to further the cause for racial justice, I got 2 words for you. Affordable housing. Yeah? Affordable housing. You're already doing it. Give yourselves a hand. Come on. All right. Here's what I want to do finally. We have a tradition here at NCC that I'm so proud of. And I want to do this with you in the aisles because it's so hot in here. We got to get out of our seats. So stand up. Let's get in the aisle. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to get together and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. And then after that, we're going to move outside into the courtyard for some food and some drink. Have a wonderful day, y'all. I love you so much. Let's get together and let's sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with love as our mother, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth. Yeah, y'all sound so good. You sound so great. All right, have a great day. Have a wonderful week.